Hello, welcome to this sixth session of week 4 of our course on marketing management part 2, where we are concluding our discussions on brand. I was discussing in the last session that we would like to see how you can create a powerful brand step by step. So, this first step in this process is to do a situation analysis with respect to the current market, current set of competitors, current need of customers, identified gaps in the minds of the customers with respect to available solutions in response to their needs. Customers' needs come from various levels. There are very basic staple products which are related to customers' basic survival needs, daily needs, the products which we call or services which we call the staple products and services, also often called convenience products and services. Then we have products which are not daily use products, or rather not products purchased daily, may be used daily but purchased occasionally. So, the first category of convenience products will be products like, say, food products, basic food products. But the next level will be products which we buy not necessarily for sustenance or survival, but just as a casual for casual pleasure, for casual consumption. And then of course, so those products which are for casual consumption, not frequently purchased but often purchased, medium value products, maybe per unit higher in price compared to staple products. We call them shopping products. And then of course, there are specialty products. So, to give you an example, if you are buying bread, that will be convenience product. If you are buying a healthy sweet and sour new taste snacks, not fried but roasted for health reasons, using low sodium salt for health reasons, using light sugar and healthy ingredients, natural ingredients, organic ingredients for health reasons, then that will be a product which is different from bread for daily consumption. That will become something like a specialty food product. And then can be what we call not that sort of shopping food product, but specialty food product like, say, maybe caviar, or maybe salted fish, or maybe vacuum packed fresh salmon or some other exotic fish. That will become some kind of a luxury product, or occasionally purchased high value specialty product. So, whichever category you are choosing your product or service will have to be positioned accordingly. So, let us take this for example, a new type of sweet and sour snack for occasional consumption, for casual consumption pleasure. This chart that you see here allows you to position, to understand the position of your intended brand position in terms of that particular product which will come here, and that has to be seen in terms of the market and customer, their gap in the current availability, in relation to the competition, in relation to the other brands available in the market. So, here you have created a new type of snacks, and it has to be understood also in terms of your product line for snacks. You must be as a packaged food producer, you may be having other products, and there can be a whole portfolio of products. So, here we are trying to project that in a large company you may be managing a large number of brands. Each brand will have a champion, each product will have a champion in a large company like say Hindustan Unilever or Procter and Gamble or Himalaya or Dabur, and each of those products will need strategic brand analysis with respect to competition and other brands available in the market, as well as within your own product line and portfolio of products. This is the first analysis that needs to be done. Then you need to create some performance objectives and select the method for evaluation of those performance objectives, and then you take an actual situation, identify problems and decide how to eliminate those problems. This is fundamentally what you need to do day in and day out for brand management. Now, those performance objectives they come in different buckets. The performance objective can be in terms of financial objectives, per unit contribution to overhead, gross profit, net profit, etc. for that product line. Performance objective can also come in terms of market share objective, mind share objective, and so on. And for each of those objectives or class of objectives, you will have a set of evaluation methods. So, financial objectives will have to be evaluated in terms of financial results. The market share objectives, mind share objectives will have to be measured using the market research techniques in terms of evaluating customers' perceptions and so on. And this gap analysis and elimination of gaps is what we were discussing in the last session, that you have to compare the current situation with your objectives, and that is the gap. The gap can also be seen in terms of the intended position in the customer's mind and the perceived position in the customer's mind after acquisition, consumption, after purchase of your goods and services. And each case we will have a set of solutions to eliminate the gaps. this function of identifying the gap between intended position and the actual position and resolving that gap should be seen as a connected, from a connected systems perspective, and that is what we are representing in this diagram, that the brand performance has to be analyzed in terms of financial terms. In the product grid, the product grid is what we showed in the beginning of this session, this particular diagram. And then we have to also see what we call brand positioning map. The brand positioning map at this stage, simply you should understand, is that all products and services in the market on the market canvas will have a relative position. Like for example, if you take hotels, then you can have, say, price versus, say, location, and based on that price versus location, you can have a high price, high convenience location, low price, high convenience location, and so on and so forth. And these are the different, usually we take it in a 4 quadrant, we take 2 attributes, orthogonal attributes, and create a relative position. So there can be a high priced hotel very conveniently located at the city center, or there can be a budget hotel conveniently located near the station, or can be a luxury hotel near the airport, or can be a budget hotel near the airport. So all these are, you can say, clusters of positions, and depending on the current availability of hotels in these different categories in different locations, you may identify some gap, and that is what we call this brand positioning map. That means with respect to the current available solutions in the market, you find a gap where it is less populated, there are less number of competitors, less number of offerings, and you try to create an advantageous situation there. Of course, sometimes you may have some very strong offering by virtue of which you may like to take on head on other competitors. But usually all these functions are to be seen as a connected system, each impacts the other, and that is why this brand performance is impacted by all these factors. Now, an interesting thing is this product life cycle analysis and its impact on brand. The brand which is at the early stage of a product life cycle or industry life cycle. So, suppose you are looking at a new type of say consumer fitness device. You know, nowadays you see those bands, smart bands, people wear like watches around, it can show time, but besides that, in communication with your smartphone, these bands actually provide lot of data to you with respect to your fitness, that is how many steps you have walked today, how good was your sleep, how many hours you have been standing, how many hours you have been sitting, and all these various kinds of, how many calories have you consumed, how many calories you have spent. All these data can be provided on your watch like band in communication with your smartphone. This is a type of device. Now, this device is a kind of a new packaging of functionalities provided in a convenient way. And therefore, this bundle at this early stage, your product in this space, your brand in this space will mainly compete on the basis of distinctiveness, on the basis of differentiation. Remember those three generic strategies of low cost, differentiation and focus. So, here at the early stage, the brand competes on the basis of differentiation, distinctiveness, because all the new entrants in this fitness band product brand space, they are all jostling with each other by promising different distinctive features to get the attention, to win the support of the majority of the consumers. Then when there are many competitors, the consumers, the market forces create the urge for some sort of standardization. At that stage, a sort of what we call a dominant design emerges. It is kind of at the, after the initial adoption innovation period, we are reaching the early majority stage. Majority of the buyers are now attracted to such a new bundle of products and services with respect to fitness. And here, once a dominant design emerges, then all brands must conform to those basic design features, requirements, functional requirements. And at that stage, therefore, the brand must base its promise on high quality at an attractive price. So, at this stage, therefore, the value proposition is derived from low cost, which comes from operational excellence, and the brand promise will be based on reliability, good pricing, high functionality, all packaged with better and better economics. But beyond that, in the industry life cycle or PLC product life cycle, when we are approaching the maturity stage, then again another sort of distinctiveness comes to play the core role in brand positioning, brand value creation, and that is derived from focus. At that stage, you may have to create different types of fitness bands for different types of customers, for male customers, female customers, for child customers, senior citizen customers, for office goers, for sports people. So, you have to identify different market niches, different customer characteristics, and match different products within the same family, the same fitness band, but with different accents, different importances given to different features. So, the whole bundle of features will then be packaged separately for children, for senior citizens, for male customers, female customers, for sports people, for sedentary office workers, and so on. And these days, many such products like this fitness band, they go hand in hand with different kinds of software, which may be resident in your computer, which may be resident in your smartphone, which may be resident on multiple devices that you use. And so, these software bundles called apps go hand in hand with the particular design of your hardware, and together they create the value proposition. And as I was saying, that across the product life cycle, these core value propositions evolve from the initial jostling for distinctiveness to the later stage of high value at economic pricing to different bundles for different customer segments. The brand promise evolves. So, we use therefore fundamentally this product grid analysis, brand positioning analysis to create these, to manage this evolution that we were discussing, and we need to continuously support those by different kind of market intelligence, market information analytics, market research studies, and overall financial analysis of how we are going. So, to summarize therefore, now we are coming to this brand identity is a unique set of brand associations that the brand strategist aspires to create and maintain. So, you see, brand identity is an internal creation. These associations represent what the brand stands for and imply a promise to the customers from the organization. So, this brand identity has to be always compared with the brand perception in the customer's mind after acquisition, after buying your goods and services. And therefore, we often say that to sort of stress, to actualize, to embody these different elements that go into the brand identity, we use the product, its form, etc., the organization, the entire delivery mechanism, and sometimes a person represents that particular product, and different types of symbols, logos, slogans, sounds, jingles, they all together create this brand identity. We are now going to discuss some specific issues. This we have, all these we have discussed, but I think I must mention this at this concluding session, that the basis of brand identification are related to these issues: line of product, specific product, private branding, company name, and so on. It becomes clearer when we see, when we discuss these issues like line extension, brand extension, all these we have already discussed in the earlier sessions. But you must understand therefore that this managing the brand across the industry life cycle, product life cycle, managing the evolution of the brand promise are also related to this line extension, brand extension, because sometimes in response to the need of the market, as the market is evolving, we need to do this, that we may need to do some horizontal extension. That means you already are offering certain snacks, now you can need to offer different other tastes. It can be vertical extension where we can go up from the core brand, we can go down from the core brand, or we can extend that same brand to another class of products. So, Wills, which is a lifestyle brand, can extend from maybe personal products to sports products to active lifestyle products to casual party style apparels and dresses and so on. So, all these we have discussed, this brand range, co-branding and all these, but I must highlight that this concluding session where we are discussing about a brand strategy and managing the brand over the life cycle are all techniques discussed earlier packaged into different requirements. So, when we talk about brand leveraging, an issue, a term that I had introduced earlier, some of the, again we have discussed about these, again these cannibalization risks when we extend the brand, and issues relating to when you come to with a lower price version of a brand, whether you are going to damage your core brand or your core brand promise, or whether you are going to confuse the clarity of your product offering. All these we have discussed in the earlier session, that how some brands have succeeded, how some new brand introductions have failed, and they are all correlated to these topics that we have given here on this particular slide. So, I have these two slides to conclude today's session. So, here you have the 7 deadly sins of brand management. So, the failure to fully understand the meaning of your brand, that means the brand identity which is in your mind created inside the company must synchronize with the brand perception in the customer's mind. So, what meaning you are creating in the customer's mind, and if you fail to understand that, then your brand management will fail. Failure to live up to the brand promise. I was discussing about that you must walk carefully on the edge, manage the tension between low promise and over promise. You must attract the customer, but you should not attract the customer with a hype that you will not be able to meet. So, failure to live up to the brand promise is a deadly sin. Failure to adequately support the brand, that means you create a promise, you get good satisfaction from the customer after consumption, but you are not adequately able to support it with good after sales support, good distribution, good availability, continuing promotion and so on, then your brand management will not succeed. You have to be patient, because some brands flower quickly, some brands take time to take hold, depends on which category. If you remember, the convenience products, shopping products and specialty products that we discuss, brands take different time to get a salient position in each one of these categories. So, you have to be patient, you have to understand that in which category you are playing, and therefore, how long it will take for your brand to get a prominent position. It also depends on the current competitive situation, how well you have recognized the gap, whether it is really a gap, whether it is something that customer will really value or not. Customer will consider it rather more of a hassle. That is something very important to consider. I remember some time back a company had introduced this product that where you just scan some kind of a code on the product, and immediately on your phone you can go to the website of that product. So, you do not have to type in the URL of the product or the company, and it will show you some features of the products on your smartphone or some comparative evaluation on the smartphone. This product appeared to be very promising, as in the minds of the creators of the product service bundle. Even it attracted lot of investors, but actually it failed, because in reality the customers scanning for products on shelves of supermarkets did not want to go through this hassle of taking the product and scanning it with the mobile phone and then looking at the website, doing all that. As somebody said, who the hell wants to interact with a soda can or something like that. So, which means that the brand image, the product promise, the brand promise that the designers or the providers or the sellers thought of were not in consonance with what the customer was prepared to do. So, therefore, it had a mismatch. Often of course, we are not able to manage the evolution, so we are not able to control the brand life as it evolves, and also this there has to be some consistency in the way this evolution is managed. So, if you are introducing different variants of your say wafers, chips, snack in the snack market, there has to be some consistency. If your first launch was based on health and natural ingredients and organic ingredients, then that consistency you have to maintain as you introduce new products. If you come up suddenly with another set of products which is high cholesterol, high salt or high fat, then you are attacking your own core positioning brand mantra. So, that you have to be very careful. And different brands have different complexities, and that correspondingly your measurement systems will have to take into account all of those issues. And lastly, how many brands are enough? Here, whenever you are introducing a new brand, you have to consider these issues, that is it different enough to merit a new name, a new logo or a new color or whatever. Will this new brand identity add value to whatever you are currently doing, and will it put your existing brand or existing product line to risk? And on the whole, is the new brand financially a viable business venture and technologically a feasible product line that can evolve over time. So, you start with a current perspective when you create a new brand. You look at the current market, you look at the current customer needs, you look at the current competitors, but remember that once created it acquires a life of its own, and that brand therefore must evolve, it cannot stand static, and that evolution over the brand life cycle, if I can use that term, need to be managed. That is at the core of strategic brand management. Thank you.